There we go. All right. They can see us. We'll start seeing people. Look, 5 people are already on with us. All right. This is going to be fun. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about, Amanda's taking a picture to post us on Instagram. We're going to talk about work-life balance and some other things today. Wait for people to get the notification that we're live. If you are joining us in the replay, please tell us in the comments, put, hashtag replay. Oh boy, look at all the comments coming through.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Angie. Hi, Roxanne.
Roxanne.
All right. So I'm Jane. If you're new, I'm Jane. I am the CEO and founder of Jane's Agenda. We run janesagenda.com. And this is Emily.
I'm Emily. I do all the website stuff, all the prettiness, I'm in charge of making sure you can order the product and purchase everything. So, hi, I'm excited to be here today.
Yep. Emily's been my longest standing employee. She's been with me over 5 years now. So she's been involved in any decision or anything you've seen on our website. She's been right there with me. So it's really exciting to have her get to talk to you today. Let's see.
Hello from Wisconsin.
Hi, Road.
You guys have great cheese.
Hi, Sandra. Let's see. Where else do we have? Okay, so I do know, because this is only our second time using this program, that we can share everywhere. If you are on our Facebook page or on our YouTube, we can see your comments. If you are on the group, the Facebook group, we cannot see your comments. So if you want to participate, you'll need to join from the Facebook page or from our YouTube channel. It's really easy to find us, facebook.com/JanesAgenda or youtube.com/JanesAgenda. But we will not be able to see your comments from the Facebook group. And I did not know that last time. So if you were talking to us, I'm sorry we didn't see it. But it's because the group is private. Let's see. All right. So many more highs. Yay. Hi, everybody. All right. So today, and we have our little notes here so we can stay organized because we have a lot to cover. Today, we are going to talk about work-life balance. We've been doing a lot of subscription box talk during these lives, and luckily right now we don't get to talk about that because we don't have any open subscription boxes, which means we get to actually talk about planning in general. So we're going to talk about how work-life balance is something that we personally manage in our own planners and how you might get some tips for your own planner. And so hopefully this is a really interesting topic for you. And I encourage you to ask us questions if at any point we say something you don't understand. We've got more highs. Hi, Kayla. All right. And then we are going to talk about our paper transition. If you haven't been following along, we are transitioning to hammer mill paper starting on Monday.
Yes.
On Monday. And so that means anything that's in our shop right now is still the previous paper, that paper that you've known and loved for the last at least 6-7 years. We've had the same paper. Unfortunately, we had to make the decision to switch. And so for the last 2 years, we've been researching and trying to find the perfect paper to give you because we knew this was coming. And full transparency, because I believe you guys should know, we are not able to get our old paper anymore. It's just not possible. And so we had to transition, we had to change. We bought all the paper we could in the entire United States, hundreds and hundreds of cases of paper, knowing that eventually it would run out and we'd have to transition. And we've reached that point. It is time to switch to the new paper. And luckily, we fell in love with Hammer Mill. It's beautiful.
And all the info is on the website. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you need to read up on it, we've got a banner up and it takes you straight to the link. So if you want more information on it, it's right there.
Yep. And so at the end of this, we're going to talk a little bit. We are going to have a sale and we're going to give you some details on that. All the links are going to be on the website. If you're on our email, you're going to get all this emailed to you as well with easy to click links. But we're going to cover that again at the end of the live here so that if anybody wants to know anything about that, just stay till the end. We have a lot of people from Colorado.
Right? What is happening?
Yay.
What's happening in Colorado, you guys?
All right. So let's see. We're going to dive right in, I guess. So I know that if something that we're struggling with, I know that you're probably struggling with it too, right? We're busy women, we're moms, we have similar lives to what everybody else has. And one of the things that we regularly discuss, and it's actually one of our core values here at Jane's Agenda, is maintaining a good, healthy work-life balance.
Balance, yes.
It is actually in our core values. We picked it because we want everybody to feel fulfilled and supported no matter what part of their life they're focusing on. And so today we're going to be covering some of the things that we do to make sure that we stay balanced here at Jane's Agenda and how we use our planners to do that.
Avoid the burnout.
Celia says, let's see. She says, Jane, my friend lives in Payson, Arizona. Don't know if that's near you. That's about what, 2.5, 3 hours? Yeah.
An hour and a half, 2 hours, yeah.
Depending on where you live, we're kind of a little big area, depending on which direction you come from. Yeah, that's not too far away.
Let's not base it on how fast I drive.
All right. So the modern woman, super busy, right? You've got work, and you've got family, and you've got home, and you've got hobbies, and you've probably got a side hustle thanks to COVID, right? Everybody picked up a side hustle while they were sitting at home. So we all have all these things that are all going on. How do you feel like you're all in everywhere all the time, right? Without getting burnt out? I don't know about you, but when I try to be 100% for everyone all the time, I get tired. I sleep more. I need more time to recharge my social battery, right?
I start to feel depressed.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
I don't know what to do next.
And so we thought that would be a really nice topic to go over with you today. So we're going to dive into that. For us specifically, we try really hard to make sure that we feel like we're our best selves, no matter what part of our life we're working on. And so one of the things that we do is we separate our life into categories. And I have a list of 10 categories to give you that you could work from. But I recommend before we dive into those, that you pick 3 to 5 categories. If you're going to try to do it the way we do, do not try to pick all 10. When you have too many areas of your life that you are working on, you are spread really thin across all of them. I hope that makes sense. So I try to stay within 3 to 5, and that feels like a good balance. And if all 5 are super hectic and crazy, it might be time to cut back and pick only 3. So you have to make that decision for yourself. But the
I like to combine.
Yeah.
Well, combine them, like a lot of them, they fall in the same category if you really think about it. And so I just combine them, and then I can do everything, but not feel so overwhelmed because I made them into like 3 categories.
Well, and we're going to read through them, and some of them do obviously feel like they could be combined. So if they're not super crazy and they're small little categories for you, you could combine a couple smaller categories of life into one bigger category. And she and I both kind of do that with different things. So the top 10 life categories we recommend for your planner for tracking in your life. The first one, and they're not in any particular order. There is no priority here. The first one is career and work, then family and relationships, health and wellness, which I call well-being, financial management, personal development, social and recreation, home management, spirituality, mindfulness, it's kind of the same category, hobbies and interests, and self-care and beauty. Those are the top 10 categories that I think should be in anybody's well-rounded life. But you will not be able to do a full focus on all 10 categories at any given time. That's a lot to try to put your all in. I'm not saying ignore the other ones, but maybe they're not your main priority every day. For me right now, the categories that I have and that I'm actively tracking daily in my planner are career and work, obviously, well-being, which for me is literally anything in my temple here. So like mind, body, spirit, for me, that's the whole all-encompassing. And then home management, which includes my family. And that's how I break my 3 out. So I do work, well-being, and home. Can you say all 10 again? Absolutely. We can totally do that again. All right. I wish I had a slide to show you. I didn't even think about that. Could have made a slide. All right. Number 1, career and work, family and relationships, health and wellness, financial management, personal development, social and recreation, home management, spirituality and mindfulness, hobbies and interests, and self-care and beauty. I know I talk really fast. It's just how I am. So that was really hard to slow down. If you need me to say them again, I totally will. But I recommend picking a few categories. Emily can tell you what her categories are.
Honestly, I like to combine my family with my home management things. I think Jane does the
Yeah.
same thing. Work and my finances. I kind of combine those because I don't really like to do the money stuff at home. That I need to relax my brain and focus on everything else. And so to me, managing my money is like work. And so I kind of like to keep that together. My self care and everything, I usually track on habit trackers, but honestly, I keep two weeklies in my planner. It's a little chaotic, but it works for me because I have to separate my work and my family, all my personal things. So I'll use the weekly 19 for all my work, everything I need to do that's professional.
That's the executive weekly.
Yeah. And then I'll do the weekly 22. I can totally fold it and put it in between my weekly pages. And then I just keep all my personal stuff.
Yeah, with these lights, we got to angle it down a little.
I just
it's hard to see.
Keep the weekly 22 as a tip in, and it's my personal, and that way I can hide all my stuff so it doesn't make me stressed out when I'm at work. I'm not worried about home so much. But honestly, it's important to balance.
So Emily likes to keep her eggs separate in her baskets, right? She keeps her work and finances separate from her home and family. Mine mixes and intertwines. It's not unusual for me to have to do something for my family at lunchtime, and then go back to work at 8 o'clock at night and do something for marketing, things like that. So for me, it's a little different. So I figured between the two of us, we kind of have a range of experience using planners for managing different types of work-life balance. And so for me, I use the Daily 12, which is our executive daily, and it is not obvious how to break that one out for work-life balance, but I make it work for me. And you could do the same thing on pretty much any weekly, the way that I do this. So if I have tasks that are related to work, I put them towards the top of my task list. And if I have tasks related to home and family, I put them towards the bottom. And so I work from the top down for work, and I work from the bottom up for family. And eventually they meet in the center sometimes, but for the most part, that gives me a real clear what goes where. And I can break up any task list that way. I've been doing it for like 10 years, and it works really well for me. My well-being is not usually on my task list because those are usually things that I don't need an active task for. It might be like, go for a run. I'm a runner. I love my treadmill. So I would put that on my schedule, but not on my task list.
For me.
Yeah, no, Emily's not a runner. She's an inside cat. But if you are new to managing work-life balance, we can recommend a few of our different inserts that are going to naturally make it easier. And so we'll talk about those. But I did want to touch on why tracking things separately is really useful, because I don't think we covered that well enough for you. I really think that mindset is important. You get into a certain mindset when you're doing an activity, and that might not be the same for each activity. So for me, when I'm talking about work, I have my boss hat on and I'm thinking very analytical and tasks and go, go, go. And when I've got my family hat on, I'm more caring and sensitive because I've got tiny children, and it's a little different mindset, and it allows me to stay in the same mindset the whole time. But I also really like that I only have to worry about one category at a time. I don't need to be worried about what's going on at home right now. I don't need to be worried about what I'm going to eat for dinner. I have it all separated in my planner, and it's all organized. And that way I don't have to muddle my brain, if that makes sense. If you are having trouble separating out work and life, I really recommend categorizing the tasks and the appointments into different areas. If there are areas that you're focusing on, you can look at it and be like, I don't have anything in this area. I need to figure out how I can improve this area of my life. I can add extra tasks, or I can set appointments for that. Let's say self-care and beauty is one of your categories that you want to focus on in your life. You could go take time to go get a massage, get your nails done, go to the salon, right? Kayla says, I track separately as well for the same reasons. It's really useful, especially if you're crazy busy like we are. We are crazy busy. There's not a whole lot of extra time in the day, but I do know if it's in my planner, I figure out a way to make it happen. If it's not in my planner, in one ear out the other, right? It just disappears out of my life. And so I have those 3 because right now well-being is super important in my life. If I forgot to do something in that category this week, I want to make sure I take the time to do that, whether that's eating more vegetables for me or going for an extra run or something in that nature. If I didn't have anything in that, I know my life doesn't feel as balanced. I know that I'm going to get stressed out and I'm more likely to burn out because I haven't focused on the things that are important to me. I do recommend, I like the weekly 19, the executive weekly that Emily's using, because it has 5 task lists. It's got a task list under Monday through Friday, but you could use those to track 5 different categories of your life. And I think that's a really useful way to do that. You could designate each day of the week for a different category if you have that sort of need. It just breaks things up nice and clean.
I separate them into different categories so that I know that all week I did everything work-wise in each category that I need to do. That way, I like to color code too. I know it's kind of a lost art with a lot of people, but it's a thing for me to open my planner and instantly see all the colors and know exactly what is what and what I need to do every day.
Yeah, we do have a blog on color coding. If you need more help on that, there's a blog. I think it's in Planning 101, but it could be in Planning 202. I just moved everything around. I can't remember. But we do have a blog if you need to learn more about color coding and how we do that. But I do think it's important to have a layout that lets you separate out the different areas of your life, because I don't like mixing them. If you just have one task list and it's literally got everything you need to do, home, personal, finances, all of the things, it's overwhelming. That's a lot. That's a lot to have to look at. And so I really like the executive weekly for that purpose, because you could break out 5 separate categories and put all of the tasks there. And I really like our new Essential Weekly because it breaks up your day into 3 categories. So you could have 3 categories that you really want to focus on. And there's only one task list on that one. But as far as whether or not it's more about appointments for you or it's more about tasks, you would want to pick the one that works for you. And I really like those 2. If you're new to the work-life balance planning, then one of those is going to work great.
And it's a little cleaner layout, so it doesn't overwhelm you, especially if you are new to planning and trying to figure out a system for yourself. The lines and everything on some of our layouts, they can be overwhelming. And when I first started planning, I had no idea what I was doing. And so I liked clean boxes and open space where I could customize the way I needed to until I figured things out.
Exactly. The Essential Weekly is definitely meant to be easier on the eyes. I know we've been kind of jamming that down your throats the last few weeks as we released it during our anniversary event. We put it in the subscription box. That's because we love it. We absolutely love this new weekly.
It's a sweet little setup. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's see. We have a question. Let me get rid of this.
I didn't even see that.
We've got a little box here. I got to close. Hold on. All right. Celia says, I think one of the hardest things for me is separating my work and personal because my job is being my dad's caregiver. I would ideally like to keep his stuff and my job separate from mine and my kids. Any suggestions? So I would try to think personally in terms of what if your dad had a caregiver that wasn't you, if he had hired out for that job, what would that look like for them? Would they wouldn't put all of that with their personal stuff. And so I would suggest you do the same thing that they would be doing. You can have more than one section in your planner for calendar stuff. We all do it. Emily has 2 weeklies every week that she looks at, one for personal and one for work.
What is it, the weekly 06 where everything's on, like you have your schedule and everything on
the left? Yeah, that's the weekly 06.
And then everything else, your notes, all the things on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I suggested that to someone because she has so many different lives to manage, but she wants to be able to see it on one page. And so you can separate, like husband, children, personal, like into categories and people instead of morning, afternoon, evenings. I suggested that she turn those boxes into separate people so that she could keep everything together and see everyone's schedule, but make sure that it was separated so she wasn't overwhelmed.
Yeah, I agree. I think the weekly 06, I think the Essential Weekly would be a great choice because you can schedule out your day in separate chunks. The other thing you could do is do like Emily does and keep that all your personal stuff in a
yes.
separate weekly. She uses the new weekly 22 that folds so that she can see her whole layout all at once, but she keeps her personal stuff in the weekly 22 and her work stuff in the weekly 19, but she can see it all in one spread. But I highly recommend, if that's what you consider as your job, treat it like a job. Don't treat it like it's a family affair, because there's going to be things that intertwine, but for the most part, the stuff that you do as a caregiver is probably different than how you would do things as his daughter, right? That's a different mindset. Again, when you get into that train of thinking, that lets you know, oh, this is a different part of me and I need to manage that part separately. I don't believe in combining the different categories into one list, one schedule. I think it's really, really hard. And if you have to, that's when the color coding is really useful, because you can visually still separate everything, even if it's on the same thing. So if you don't want to have separate layouts, then color coding, like Emily suggested, is a great idea, because you could have like blue for anything related to your family, and you could have green for your dad, and you could visually still separate it. I do think for you, though, it might be better to have the different areas of your life written out separately. But I definitely think treating it as if it was just a job will help, not only for your planner, but probably for your sanity. That sounds like a lot to have to deal with on a daily basis. And I commend you for being such an amazing daughter.
Air fives.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he appreciates it. So, but that would be my best suggestions. Hopefully that was super helpful. All right. So, the other one I wanted to suggest, if you need to separate out your monthly and you don't want to use multiple months, I have a couple suggestions for that. We have the executive monthly, and it's lined, and I like the lines. We just need to there. All right. That way her comment disappears.
Kalani says she loves the weekly 22.
You know,
I really do.
That was Amanda's brainchild, and once she told me what her goal was, I couldn't help it. We had to have it. So it's just a fantastic concept.
Well, no one needs to see my personal while we're having a meeting.
No,
I like to fold it up and tuck it in there.
Well, and so and this is going to be an overshare, but if you're tracking like your period or your ovulation or something, you don't want to share that with everybody at your team meeting, right? So that would be a perfect thing to put. You could write out and plan out anything you want to plan and know that it's personal and just for you. And I think that's why it's so genius.
No one needs to know how often I water my plants.
I mean, I know how often she waters them. There's a lot of love.
It's not over loving.
All right. So the monthly executive has the lines, and I think that would be an excellent idea. If you're trying to separate out and you only want to use one layout, I would use something with lines for your monthly, because you can visually see, like, the top half is for this category and the bottom half is for this category. I think you could, if you had multiple categories, you could put one line across is all for the same thing. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But if you're okay having more than one monthly, I highly recommend the monthly number 12 or 11. It's a one-page.
The one page.
It's a one-page monthly, because you could add a focus monthly. We use the word focus here to mean a category a lot of the time. But you could add a focus monthly to your spread that's just for that category, so you can still see it. But it doesn't take up a lot of extra room in your planner, because then when you're talking about categories, you might not need a 2-page spread for each category. That might be a lot, but maybe just a 1-page overview of what that separate item looks like might be useful. I know we were using it for like fitness or finances separately. I think Emily used it for finances. I used it for fitness. Right. So I could track my workouts all on a monthly, and I didn't have to write them on my regular monthly. They didn't mess up and get busy. And I really like the 1-page monthly for that. The other thing that you can do, we have a tip-in habit tracker.
I've never actually used that one.
It's a half sheet.
I don't know.
Well, it's a little less than half on some of the inserts. It's 2.75 inches, something like that. But small sheet that's a habit tracker that you could have the front be for one category and the back be for a different category. I've used them previously for AM and PM routines, but I think they would be really excellent to separate out tasks that you do every day. If you're trying to build a habit,
routines, any kind of thing that you want to make sure that you're tracking, honestly, snacks, meals, any kind of thing.
Yeah,
Vacation.
I think that would also be a really easy way to add an extra focus section to your current planner. I really like separating out everything, but I want to see it all at the same time. Like, I can't be made happy. I want it separate but together.
I don't want to have to flip so much. Like, oh.
Yeah, well, and that was one of my big headaches when I started using planners many, many moons ago before Jane's Agenda existed, was that I had to have different pages for different things because no layout worked the way I needed it to. And so now we get to make layouts that work better. They work better for people who have multifaceted lives, right?
Overwhelming lives.
So hopefully that was helpful in some way to you. You got some tips on how to use your planner a little more effectively. I think, let me get her comment up here. That tip-in is my absolute favorite and keeps me on track. I love it.
Start using it.
You know, tip-ins are hard.
I forgot all about it.
Tip-ins are hard because you never know where to put them, right? They come in a stack and you don't want to put the whole stack in your planner. So that's where I have a drawer that I keep my tip-ins in, and I'll just take the one that I'm using at that time and put it in the spread. I do not put those all up front in my planner because that weird thick chunk can make writing uncomfortable. So have a spot that you keep them, you know where to find them, and then they're not so overwhelming. But I love a tip-in because I can add a focus or an extra thing. I can add notes or whatever it is to my current spread and give it even more functionality.
Do you have any of these weeklies or monthlies to show for those of us who haven't?
Yes.
It's kind of hard with this lighting right now.
I
know if you were here when I had my planner up.
All right. We got to get at the right angle and then it shows up. Hopefully you can see that. This is real awkward. The lights in here are bright, but also the camera doesn't like to pick these things up. So this is the Essential Weekly. This is the one we just released. If you got it in the subscription box, you got dates that went through the end of the year. But if you didn't, you can buy them starting in January, like for January dates, or we have an undated version that you can get and start using now. And that's only 3 months worth of pages. So it's kind of perfect as like a fill-in. It's also great if you want to try it. So let me get her comment off the screen here so we can see more. So this is the Essential Weekly. It has the 3 chunks here. I'm going to move opposite way. It feels like I have to move. So you could do morning, afternoon, evening. It's hard to look in a mirror and point at stuff.
Yeah, it's a little awkward for me today.
But you could do morning, afternoon, evening in those 3 chunks, or you could do 3 completely separate life categories and keep everything separate, but all on the same spread. So I really like this layout. This is actually my real planner, which, by the way, October is still on it. Beautiful. All right, your turn.
All right. I don't know if you can see this. Ooh, I'm short. Can you see it? No.
You just have to lift your arms, honey.
It's just very okay. So we've got lined and we've got task list underneath.
Right. Yeah. See, there's 5 task lists. This is the Executive Weekly, weekly number 19, and there's 5 separate task lists each day. And there's little lines at the top. And I like those little lines to write whatever your focus is for that day. So if you are trying to separate out your categories into days, you could write it at the top. And I think that's just a nice, genius way to do that.
Also, I can schedule out my day. It's got hourly increments. So I can focus on what I'm doing and make sure that I'm time blocking for all of my projects.
All right.
And then here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah, we got to get it at like.
There we go. Okay.
Get a shadow on it.
So this is my weekly 22. All right. It's undated. And I like to put all of my personal stuff. So when I open my weekly, I can still see my personal, but my whole workflow is right there. And so I'm not lost. It's a foldable that turns into a tip-in. And so all of my personal stuff, I've got my affirmations, my priorities and goals, my bills, my appointments, my habits, everything. And my personal tasks that there we go.
At an angle.
The awkwardness of this camera. All of my tasks. So when I'm in the meeting and I have my whole week open and we're discussing work stuff, no one can see my weirdness going on that I have personally.
Well, and the at a glance week on the front is perfect if you don't have a lot going on personally, but still want to see it all there with your work week. And I love the way she's using that. And this is a tip. If you want extra privacy, just paperclip it closed. Then you don't have to worry about it popping open. It's super easy. I think that it's one of the best things that we've come up with. And so yay, Amanda. I'm hoping she's watching this and just totally red with embarrassment.
I love you.
As far as the monthly, so mine has a bunch of writing on it, so bear with me. But this is the executive monthly, and I use a Monday start because my weekend has to stay together. But this one is great because it's got lines and it's got a bigger empty space at the top. So the bigger empty space could be for the focus of the day. But I also really, I'm on the wrong side.
This is the one I use.
Yep, this is the one I think everybody in the office is still using.
I think
this
so.
one. Some of them might have switched to the new essential one. Anyway, I really like this because it has a big this week spot for each week. Because for me, each week has a focus. Like each day might have like a category. But say this week we're talking about the subscription box. Next week it might be all about inventory. And I like being able to put that. And so that's
also really good for color coding.
It is. It's great for color coding. The lines make it real easy. Color inside the lines. All right. Let's see. Kaylani says, I keep mine with this day divider and move it to each day. That's
wow,
smart.
I like that. That's yeah.
You know, and you could totally put one of our like hybrid dashboards that say this week or whatever on top of it, and that would help keep it closed too and keep it a little more private. And the hybrid would fit pretty perfectly over top of it. So genius. Perfect idea.
Let's see.
What was the name of yours? So the weekly that I showed you was the essential weekly. It is weekly 23. And it's new. Like I said, if you want dates that start right now, you have to get the undated one and just use that till the end of the year. But that might be perfect because you can try it out and see if you like it before you have to commit to a January start.
Erasable pens.
Yes, always use erasable pens. If you can't use an erasable pen, use a pencil because life changes, things happen. The worst thing is when something happens and you have to get an entirely new calendar because you decided to take off one task every week, right? And so I highly recommend the friction pens. That's why you get so many different ones in the subscription box because they are our favorite.
It works well with continuous life changes.
Okay. So finding a layout that works the way you need it to with your life. Now we recommended some things, but depending on how you want to track your categories, what categories you do, maybe you need more or less room for different ones. Think outside the box. Even if you have a layout that you really love, maybe there's a way to add an extra layer of functionality. You could add a sticky note. You could washi tape off a section. You could color code. You could add a paper clip. I mean, the opportunities are endless, but don't think just because we gave you a layout that you have to stick to it exactly the way that it was designed. They're meant to be flexible. Almost all of our layouts come with blank headers and sections where you can write your own categories of whatever's important to you. And so ideally, you find a layout that works the way you need it to. And if you can't find one, we have been putting more and more undated layouts in our shop. They come in smaller packs, at least the weekly, and I think the daily ones do too. And that way you can try something out without committing to a full 12 months of it. And so hopefully that helps you. There is a section, you can click a button that says undated and they all come up. It's really easy. But
usually I change out, like I like to change out layouts for summer versus winter. Winter seems to be more chaotic for me. Summer's more of a laid back spread. So
I try out anything we put in the box. So I might have a new weekly every time.
Which again is why I have to separate.
Sometimes you try something out and it just doesn't work. I do recommend giving it a good try before you give up. Maybe the first week was uncomfortable, but you're just getting to know each other, right? Give it time. Let it marinate. I think somewhere between 4 and 6 weeks is what I would recommend to try a new layout and see if it really works for you. And don't just stick to the layout that's there. You can highlight and mark off because sometimes your perfect layout, your planner piece is just like one highlighter line away, like literally that easy. And so don't feel bad if you have to modify one of our layouts to make it work exactly the way you need it to. I want you to have a planner that works for you. And I wish we could have a layout for every single life. One day we might. But in the meantime, feel free to modify what we've got. We've got a good starting point for you. Somewhere in our collection.
We have something for everyone.
Somewhere in our collection, there's a good starting point.
Every woman, every type of lifestyle that she might have. Every one of us in the office has a different type of life than the next. And so we all like to come together and brainstorm when it comes to making layouts that are really going to work for everyone.
So feel free to speak up if you have any questions, if you need more help on ways to help you with your work-life balance. If you have questions about anything we talked about. In the meantime, because our comments are a little slow, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to dive into the paper transition and talk to you about what's coming to the shop. So anything you order until Sunday, the 17th, anything you order will be printed on our older paper, right? Beautiful paper we've all got in our planners right now. Every piece of paper we've just showed you is our older paper because our planners are filled with it. But anything you order starting on Monday will be printed on Hammermill. And I do have them here, which I know if I tilt it, you can kind of see the color. The new paper has a slight cream tone to it, which is actually, it's beautiful. It's actually easier on the eyes. It's funny. Our paper is super bright. Our old paper was super bright. Everyone comments about how bright and beautiful and bright white our paper is. But when you hold it up to the Hammermill, our older paper looks blue or purple almost. Like there's a noticeable tint.
I always loved our paper, but holding it up next to the Hammermill, like I feel sad and I want that.
Yeah, you want this cream tone. It's gorgeous. And then so we are switching, right? There's no going back. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it, and we're really happy with it. But we have all this stock. We have all this stock lying around in our shop on the old paper, and I don't want to sell someone an insert that's in one paper and then another insert that's in another paper. And so what we're doing is we're going to hold a sale, and it's a crazy sale. Before we tell you more about that, let's cover what we have here. Roxanne, what is a good brand of highlighter that you can't see on the back page?
I like the friction highlighters. The friction because you can erase. Mm-hmm. I also, mild liner.
Mild liners used a lot.
I can get all the colors. What is the Stabilo? Stabilo.
Yeah, we use those too. That's
the other one.
I like any of the ones that are softer. I don't like the harsh neon colors. I like the more pastel vibes because they aren't as jarring to me, but that's up to you what you like. If you like hardcore rainbow colors, you do what makes you happy, and no judgment from me.
Do not use the Sharpie.
No.
Don't use the Sharpie brand. It doesn't matter what paper you have, it will bleed through. Just a warning.
Steph says, Roxanne, I use mild liners and they work well on Jane's agenda paper. Yeah, those are the three that we all use within the office. That's pretty much all we use is the friction, which if you didn't know, you can have an erasable highlighter. You can, and it's fantastic. You can't, this is the only thing I've noticed is you really can't highlight over an area that you've erased. And so if you're going to highlight in a different color, you'd have to use a different brand of highlighter because friction highlighters for some reason do not like to write over where you've already erased them. But I do use those almost exclusively in my planner because life changes. But friction highlighters, Stabilo highlighters, and the mild liner. I also really like Tombow markers, but only the super light colored ones because the darker ones seem to bleed through. But I do like those as well. They have some really good colors in there, and those are pretty. All right.
I don't like stickers, so highlighters are important.
Oh. Lisa says, you can also use the softer Tombow markers. Well, see, there we go. See. All right. And Celia, I got the text about the sale and I'm ready for it. Go build your carts as soon as we're done here. We did give you enough time to go build your carts. So what we're doing for the sale, 50% off.
50%.
50. I don't think we've ever done 50% off on anything.
50% off all inserts in the shop.
Yep. On any planner insert because they're all printed on our older paper and we are ready to clean off the shelves.
We're cleaning house.
It's a lot. There are a lot. Now, a lot of things are sold out because we've been trying really hard not to overstock on the older paper. And so I have some suggestions. If you have a junior and we are sold out in junior, look at unpunched. If you have a punch, you can punch your own inserts because they're the exact same size. The unpunched is the same size as junior. And I know we have quite a bit of stock in that size. If you have a B6, you can use personal size items. They're a little smaller, but they'll fit in your planner just fine. They're the same punch style. So that's a great option. What else? You can use mini size in a classic if you want an extra layout. I've seen that before. You add like a note page to a spread. A mini size will fit beautifully in the center of a classic, and it's just this cute little kind of tip-in shape. Any mini tip-in will fit in any size disc bound. So you don't have to have the full length of the tip-in.
It doesn't matter which size discbound. The space between the discs are all the same for each size.
Yeah.
So you could basically be putting a junior in a classic or a mini in a junior, mini in a classic.
Let me show
just
you
for little side notes and things.
So the only thing I will say is that if you put a junior in a classic, because of the layout of the punches, you will have a small, which I'm going to have to get at the right angle, you will have a small section, if you can see that, at the bottom where it hangs out just a tiny bit. That's the only problem with putting a junior in a classic is the layout. Even though they're the same punch distance, they will hang out a tiny bit, either top or bottom, depending on where you put it. But mini won't. Mini will fit perfectly right in the center of your pages. For Steph says, I'm sad the inserts I need are sold out. They're only sold out for this weekend because we're just trying to sell through old stock. We're going to bring back most of our inserts come Monday in the new paper, and it'll be like nothing ever happened. But in the meantime, I need to clean my shelves because I refuse to sell one insert in one paper and one insert in another paper to the same customer. That sounds terrible. I am way too OCD to do that to you. So like I said, if you're open to trying different sizes or things like that, it's a great opportunity to mix and match. I love adding the mini note pages to my spread. I love having that mini size dot grid so I can still see my layout for my regular planner.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina. I'm joining late. I'll have to watch the replay. I wondered where you were. She's here every time. We love Tina.
Tiffany says she's awaiting her first order. She's so excited. She's already going to have to make a second order.
You know, that's normal around here. Once you start diving in, you just, it's a lifestyle. So we do have a lot of stock. We have a lot of stock in Tippins. We have a lot of stock in different items. So just kind of shop around. There's no easy way for us to make it obvious what's still in stock and what size. That's why I'm giving you plenty of warning. You can go look around, find what you need. Now, adding it to your cart makes it easier to check out because you don't have to do all that shopping right when the sale goes live. But if somebody buys the item before you, it will disappear. I cannot stop people from buying just because it's in one person's cart or another person's cart. So it really does pay to build your cart and shop quickly. The discount is automatic. You do not have to add a code. 50% off. All planner inserts will be automatic. Now we are only doing discount.
What time today?
It's at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Right now, if you're
today,
if you're watching live, it is 1:49 here. So you have about an hour and 10 minutes. If you're not watching live, hopefully you Google. We are on Arizona time. It is 3 p.m. Arizona time. You're going to want to go build your cart. And you have plenty of time to do that. The sale does not start till 3. So anybody who buys early, you're not going to get the discount. It's automatic. It's not something we're going to go and refund and take that time because there's limited stock. But there's something in almost every insert. There's some stock in some size. They're just not all the sizes. So look around, click the buttons. Our website, unfortunately, makes it a little difficult when things are sold out to see what is not sold out. So you have to click whatever variant is there. If you have size and date, you have to click both to see if it's in stock. Click around, add up your cart. It is the biggest discount we've ever offered on a category before. Ever.
It made me panic.
Yeah. She's like, are you sure? 50, not 15? I mean 50. 50% off. Panic. It's only through this weekend. So it does start at 3 in about an hour, but most of it will probably be gone in like the first hour because that's usually what happens with our sales. Anything that can sell out will be gone. People will be buying it. So I recommend shopping early. If you can't get to it early, I'm sure there will be some things still in stock. And so I highly recommend going and building your cart when we're done. If you're new, we're at janesagenda.com. We're the planner people. We've been here 10 years now. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary. So whatever you get from us was made with expertise. We took a lot of care. The only difference between shopping today and shopping next week is the kind of paper that you get and that you're going to get a cheap price. So
you'll never get this discount like this.
This is really unusual for us, but we're in a hurry. So we got to get these shelves empty so we can transition. You cannot use any other discounts during this weekend. Once 3 p.m. goes live, you will not be able to use your planner perks or any other welcome discount, nothing. You can only get the planner insert discount because it's the way that our website is set up. We cannot control that. And so if you have planner perks, save them for another day. Do not try to use them. They will not work. If you don't know what Planner Perks are, it's our referral program.
It's our referral program.
It's our loyalty program. It's the more you buy, the more points you earn, and points buy you discounts. And if you have Planner Perks, which most of our customers do, because as you've seen from Tiffany, once you start shopping with us, it becomes a regular habit, and we just love that. But that means that you have points added up that you can use to buy discounts. Do not buy your discounts for this sale. They will not work. You cannot do both. The only thing that you will still get is if you spend over $100, you will still get free shipping. So for US customers get free shipping over $100. So if you spend over $100, you'll get the 50% for anything that was in your cart. And then it has to be $100 after discount. It's not before discount. And then you'll get free shipping.
The ready to ship planners, are they with the old paper?
I'm pretty sure all of the ready to ship planners are the older paper. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure.
Yes. Anything in stock?
They should be. I don't believe they were printed on the new paper. And those may still be in stock after the event if there's any left. Those are not discounted. And so that would be the only thing which you found out. That might be the only thing in our shop that still might have the older paper after this weekend. Celia, is this for dated and undated? Any planner inserts, literally any planner inserts in the shop.
Every insert in the shop, yes.
There's going to be a link on the homepage, a button that takes you directly to the planner insert page, anything in there. If you unclick that, if there's anything in last chance, those will not come back. Last chance means clearance. It means it's going away. So anything in there, once this weekend rolls around, you will not get that layout again. So if there's something there that you've been eyeing, now is your chance to get that. I do know a few of our lifestyle inserts are going to go away as well because we don't have very many in stock and they were not big sellers. So there may be a couple things that disappear.
Yeah, we're continuously trying to make improvements. So if it doesn't sell, it means it doesn't work. And, we try to design on the ideal woman who has a busy life. And so again, we're continuously coming out with new things and getting rid of things. So if there's something you like, stock up on it.
Yeah. I'd love to keep every layout around forever, but if the sales don't reflect that this is something that the majority of our customers want, we need to clear that space and bring in something different that hopefully does speak to everyone. And we just keep doing that until we get this collection of inserts that everybody loves. And so a lot of our layouts have been with us 3-4 years. But newer ones, it just kind of depends. And so if there's something on last chance, insert-wise, that you want, it will disappear come Monday. So get those for sure. That I know without a doubt is going to bother some people. So I'm warning you ahead. They are going away after this weekend. Any inserts on last chance are going to get deleted, donated, thrown away, whatever it takes. They are not going to be in my shop come Monday.
We're breaking up.
Yeah.
We're breaking up.
All right.
We're going our separate ways.
So the sale starts at 3 Arizona time, which isn't just an hour. We've given you all sorts of planning tips related to work-life balance. Hopefully something here resonated with you and it helps make your planning journey a little happier. If you have any questions, now's your chance. We'll be on for just a couple more seconds. And then we got to go do stuff for the sale that's starting at 3 p.m. It's going to be busy. If
I have to turn everything on.
She's going to turn on in charge of our website. She has to go and turn all the banners on.
You can't do it if I don't turn it on.
And then it does last through Sunday at midnight. So if there is stuff left over and you just can't shop right away, you do have until Sunday. But come Monday, everything turns off and we start transitioning to the new paper. I really enjoyed this talk. I hope you guys liked it. Did you like this more? I guess this is like a learning, training type vibe. If this is something that speaks to you, we can come up with more of these to do. I would love recommendations on things you'd like to see. You can post those in our Facebook group. We're always active in the Facebook group. We're there every day. And then if you are watching us from YouTube, YouTube's new for us. We have been posting videos regularly, but it's new for us. We appreciate you subscribing. Lets us know that people want to see what we're doing.
Right.
All right. So we have no more questions coming through. So that's pretty much it. So
look at, I survived.
You survived. This is
your first live.
I
survived. This is my first live.
Yay, Emily.
I almost died. I don't know.
You're
I
fine.
feel like it.
It's really stressful going live in front of a bunch of people, but I told her it's like hanging out with
Very
planner
introverted.
buddies. We're just staring at our own faces here, talking to your comments. It's fine.
Totally. Not weird at all. Not weird.
You get used to it. But I enjoy getting to talk directly to you live. I do enjoy this very much. And so we've been doing it every week on Thursday at 1 p.m. Arizona time, except for last week when we were traveling. And so hopefully you join us every week and we get to talk. And will this be posted? Regan says. Regan.
We always post.
Yeah, this will be in the live section on YouTube, and I'll make sure the link is on Facebook.
We try to put it everywhere.
Yep. And so you can go back and watch anytime you want. It's all about work-life balance. We gave you some helpful tips. If you're worried about the event, make sure you join our email list. If you're not on our email list, you can literally put your email anywhere where it asks you on our website and you'll join our email list. Almost every blog has a freebie now that you can get. So I think it's a great idea to go join the email list because the links make it easier and we give you advance notice. If you are on our texts, you already knew this was going to happen. Join our texts. We tell you first. All right. Well, Celia. Oh, Celia said this might have been my favorite live with you guys. You know what? This was a lot of fun. It was fun getting to teach you something.
It makes me feel so good.
It's Emily's first live.
I'm not awkward at all. At all.
This is what happens when you work together for a million years. All right. So we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for joining us and fill up your carts.